Blue skies, searing temperatures, hot tarmac and some terrific racing machinery. Welcome to Oulton Park for what is going to be really a Fiesta festival for the British Racing and Sports Car Club. Racing here at Oulton Park, supporting TCR and the Milltek Civic Cup. We've got our own stream for the races that we have for the Fiestas. Our first stream is just going to cover the first of the AIRTEC Motorsport 240 Fiesta races, and you can see the cars are just beginning to join us here in the holding area. So what else have we got in store for you today? We've got the BRSCC Junior Fiesta Championship, which of course is a now ever-present support of the TCR Championship, and they are just out for their qualifying at the moment, and we'll join them a little bit later on this afternoon here in the holding area with a little bit of build-up for you for that. In addition to the AIRTEC Motorsport Championship, we've got the largely regional Vinyl Detail Fiesta Championship, which moves away from being the XR2 Challenge. XR2s have gone. The older Fiestas from the National Championship now moving into that. They look absolutely fantastic. They've got a great grid, and we're going to have some super racing from them over the course of the afternoon. We've got a little bit of time to build a picture for you as to what's going on with the AIRTECs. I can tell you that in pole position today we have Zach Lucas, who won the first two races of the championship, and Zach has got a lot of work to do here, fending off a big field from the front of the grid. Two classes as ever in the AIRTEC Fiesta Championship. I'll say as ever, it's new for this year. We've got the overall championship, a lot of young guns coming into that, which is why the BRSCC, or one of the reasons why the BRSCC have made the distinction of the new club class for this year. And I'm going to nip over here and have a word if Ethan, my camera, thank you Ethan, for looking after us today. I'm going to have a word with Morgan Kidd, who is our club class championship leader. So we'll see how Morgan reacts having a microphone popped in her face. You can see that we're quite a way away at the moment from racing because the drivers aren't actually in the cars yet. So let's grab a quick word. Morgan, can we grab a quick word with our club championship leader? Sorry to put a microphone in your face early doors, but a good start to the season, and you're leading the club class right now. So things have gone to plan. Anything hasn't gone to plan so far?
Today's quali. It's not really gone to plan. We were lacking a bit of power, but all sorted now. So hopefully we'll get back up into the top 10, get some good points and extend the lead.
What gets done to try and sort that out?
So looking at bits on the turbo, like turbo pipe, boost pipe, stuff like that. But I'm really just the driver. I've got no idea about the mechanics.
So you don't at the moment get involved in the engineering, but I guess you learn more as your racing career develops.
Yeah, so, well, I started in karting, so I know quite a bit about karts and stuff like that, but first year in the championship in cars, so I'll hopefully learn a bit more on the way. So
the other results that you've had, have you been, you're not far back, but have you been further back and sort of made progress?
Yeah, so at Silverstone I didn't go out for quali. Well, I went out for quali but didn't get a lap in, so had to start off the back and then made my way back up to, I think, got a top 10 or something like that. So
a class win, that's the important bit.
Yeah, class win, so I'm getting some trophies a lot sooner than I'd expect, but yeah, so hopefully we can do the same again and just get a good start, get up there. I've got 20 minutes, so see what happens.
When you have a winning start in terms of class wins and also leading the championship, does that put pressure on you when you come to somewhere like Oulton Park?
Not really. Like, say if I was leading the main championship maybe, but because it's just the class championship, I don't feel too much pressure, just coming out here, having fun, being fast really.
I gather you're coached by Mr. O'Neill, one of my colleagues from ITV Sport, who's here working on TCR this weekend. Nobody's really listening, but tell us what he's really like.
He's amazing. He's like the funniest person I've ever met. He's so funny, and he's got time for everyone. We were walking round and everyone's like, oh, can I have a picture? Can you get a picture? He's honestly got time for everyone, and he's brilliant. Amazing coach as well.
It's nice to know he's a coach. I've not seen him coach, but he's a joy to be with in the comms box for sure. Let's do a little bit of quick fires. Favourite circuit?
Snetterton.
Road car?
Ford Fiesta.
Biggest inspiration in motorsport?
Oh, biggest inspiration.
This one's not quick fire.
No, it's not. Probably Ash Sutton with his performance at the moment. Big inspiration.
Favourite music?
Oh, quite like indie music.
Favourite film?
Cars.
That's a great one, isn't it? Have you seen the Little Legends cars, 2 metre?
Yeah, they look so cool.
Oh, good. Okay, look, Morgan, good luck with the race. We'll let you get ready, and they'll be telling you to put your suit up and get your crash helmet on and everything else. But hopefully see you on the podium.
Perfect, thank you.
So Morgan Kidd there, our club section leader. I'm going to have a word with Sean Reynolds as well. So let's go over here. Sean's in the 777 car. He was talking to Morgan, so we stopped them talking.
Hi.
And hi, Sean, how's it going?
It's not too bad, not where we want to be in qualifying, but it was a bit mixed up being red flagged, so need to just try and get settled down in the race and just try and make some places up.
How early was it red flagged? I missed the session, unfortunately, because we were filming.
Did 2 laps, so we only got one reasonable lap in and came in, so we hadn't done the 3 laps. So we had to wait in the pits for 20 minutes, and then we had 5 minutes to go out. So 1 lap warmed the tyres up, and then I got a reasonable lap, and then the next lap I missed the gear on turn 1, so that just buggered up qualifying for me. So not where we want to be, but
Top master in clubman.
yes, but yeah, we just need a good race now.
Tell us about your history of the championship, because I remember commentating on you a few years ago in the championship.
I did a guest appearance with JRW Motorsport, not last year, the year before, at Donington in an ST150. And then last year I did the Focus Cup and a couple of rounds.
Oh, that's where I remember you from, yeah.
Yeah. And then I decided, so we bought Jensen Brickley's car, the championship winning car last year, and JRW Motorsport running it this year for us. So we're doing the whole season. But it's not been a great start. We've done 2 engines, so not having a great deal of luck, but hopefully things change.
It's funny for me as a commentator because you get to know different names, and I just think, oh yeah, Sean's been in the Fiesta. So yeah, I forgot about Focus Cup, but enjoy that.
Yeah, so I did. I think I finished 5th overall in the championship last year, and I did Donington this year because it was my local circuit, and I won it. So that was all right. I thought start the season off to a good start, but it's just gone downhill from there with 2 engines gone and stuff. So, but yeah, hopefully the look changes. So.
Hope so too. Looking forward to some big meetings like these TCR ones, and the likes of the festival at the end of the year must be good.
No, we're looking forward to it, and obviously the grids are pretty good, and the bigger they get, the better it is. So yeah.
Excellent. Sean, good luck for the race. Thanks for letting us butt in, and apologies for doing that. I'm going to have a word with, I think, Joe Knight. Okay, very close to the camera there. Very intimate with Ethan, our cameraman. Ethan, your views on the day so far?
Pretty good stuff.
I won't put him on the spot too much, but always good. I tell you what, we can't do anything without a good guy on the camera, and we've certainly got one today, which is good. Joseph Knight's in the 89 car, and there's a connection with Joe, 'cause I think one of my friends, when we used to do some interviews on Zoom, someone said, can you do a chat with Joe? And never got around to doing it because COVID a bit. And I did chat to Joe earlier on, and he's getting ready. Are you okay for a quick word, Joseph? He's all good. So we had a quick chat this morning, and just having a quick look at qualifying times, trying to juggle paper and phones and everything else. Further back than you wanted to be?
A little bit, but I mean, when you look at the times, I can't complain. We're all within about half a second of each other. I mean, from me to first, there's about 3 tenths, so I can't complain. We're on the pace. We've just got to find a little bit more for the race, really, which should be doable, should be fun, but yeah, hoping for the best, really.
So is it flat out from the word go, or do you settle into the race and sort of see how the people around you are behaving and how they're driving, and then try and sort things out from there on?
I want to say flat out from the go, but it's the second option is probably better. It's always been better to see how the race pans out and weigh out your options from there, really. But hopefully we can capitalise on other people's mistakes and incidents and make some place up at the same time, and hopefully go for a podium as well.
I was going to get Ethan. Can you bring the camera in? I don't know how close you can get. Joseph, could you give us a guided tour of your workspace here?
I can. So, we've got the wheel just here. We've got the lap timer just here. This will give me basically a live update of the times I'm doing. We've got the data logger just here, so this will show me RPMs, gears and everything, but that's more for the championship. Gear stick here, pedals down here, handbrake, and then we've got the V-box down there, so that basically records everything. We've got one camera there which looks out to the track, and then we've got a camera just there which looks out to me, and then important button, the ESC button. This is something we always have to remember to press as we go out, because the traction control is manually, we have to manually turn it off, right, because it's on from stock, so every time we have to go out we have to turn it off, which I've been guilty of leaving it on a couple of times, but yeah, one of the important things. And then obviously we got revs, speed, indicators, windscreen wipers and everything, and then mirrors, another mirror there, That's about it, I'd say.
And the thing you don't want to use, which is prevalent, is the roll cage, isn't it? Look, you look pretty safe in there.
Yeah, it is a very safe car. I've been lucky enough so far to have no crashes, but the people that have had crashes in them, they've walked away relatively unscathed. So, I mean, the cars are very safe, much safer than a lot of the other cars you could be racing. So, I mean, when I'm going around in this, I do feel very comfortable and safe in it, really.
That's good. Well, enjoy the race. Thank you for that guided tour. That was very good, me putting you on the spot. That wasn't pre-planned at all. Superb job. Enjoy the race. Good luck. We'll see you on the podium. Joseph Knight there. We hope to see him as well. And we have, so we've got a guest driver in the championship as well. I wanted to see if I could find Barry John McHenry. He's further back. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll nip down to the front and have a quick word with Zach Lucas, who won the first 2 races of the championship season. And he's got his door open, as many of them have. You can imagine how hot it is in there. It is hotter for the marshals. We recognise that. What a great colour on this car. We've got 1 minute to go, so a very quick word. Zach, all the pressure's on. Pole position, another win.
Hopefully. Fingers crossed.
Okay, good luck with that.
Thank you.
Zach Lucas there. Short and sweet. We're going to see the cars heading out, I think, very shortly. Haven't quite got the green flag yet from here. Zach Lucas on pole. There we go. As if by magic. Green flag being unfurled. Getting ready for our first race of the day. I was going to try and catch up with one of the team bosses down here as well, because of course they're not going out to race. They're just overseeing things. Might be able to grab a very quick word with Simon Horrobin on P2. If we hear the whistle blow again, we'll disappear. Simon, good qualifying.
Yes, got the car sorted now, so let's hope we have a good race.
Fingers crossed for you. Hopefully, see you on the podium. Thoughts going ahead, or anything that you changed after quali?
No, the car was good. Just needed more laps, that's all.
That's so refreshing to hear that a car has been left from quali. Well done, mate. Good luck for the race.
Thank you.
Simon Horrobin there. And is that us needed to be out of the way? Okay, so we are now going out of the way. The cars are going out. Thank you to our marshals for handing over. Commentary today, once again, is with Andy McEwen, and as he's already been paid, we might as well hand over to him. Over to you, Andy.
I don't know who's been spreading those rumours about me, Richard. Yes, thank you very much. Great to have you on board this weekend. I do rather feel that I got the short end of the stick this weekend, though, because it's the hottest day of the year so far. Every other member of the commentary team here this weekend gets to go out and enjoy the sunshine at some point. I, however, am stuck in the commentary box. But, hey, could be worse. Got air conditioning, a fantastic view of the Oulton Park circuit, and a great day of racing to follow, that's for sure. The AIRTEC Motorsport Fiesta ST150 Championship, the perfect way, really, to kickstart this TCR UK race day, because these, in many ways, are miniature touring cars, really. They are front-wheel drive, turbocharged cars on slick racing tyres, and really the theory goes that if you're going well in this championship, you should realistically be able to move up into something like TCR UK in the future. So it is a real feeder series to the main event here this weekend, and looking forward to seeing who comes out on top in this, the 6th race of the season. They had 3 back at Snetterton, also on the TCR UK bill, before a standalone event, if you like, at Silverstone on the full Grand Prix circuit a few weeks ago, supporting the Citroën C1 24-hour race. And it was there that Alistair Kellett managed to get both race victories to go alongside a victory in the 3rd race of the weekend at Snetterton as well. So 3 wins on the trot for Alistair Kellett. He will be starting only 4th on the grid this time, though, with Zach Lucas having claimed the pole position. So Lucas on pole, Simon Horrobin will start alongside him. Simon Horrobin 5th in the points, yet to win a race, but has had a bit of an up and down season, really, it must be said. Had a 2nd and a 3rd place finish at Snetterton before a really disastrous 3rd race. Kind of a similar story at Silverstone, really. He was just off the podium in race 1 and then had dramas early on, dropped to the back in race number 2, but he'll be starting 2nd this time around, one of the most experienced drivers on the grid. Here is how the grid lines up then. A 1:37.2 was the pole position time in the end for Zach Lucas, 10th and a half quicker than the veteran Simon Horrobin. Albert Webster, ex-junior front-runner, starts 3rd alongside Alistair Kellett, the points leader. And then row number 4 for Graham Colfer, who's running as a guest entry this weekend, so doesn't score championship points. He will have Joseph Knight for company. Then it's Matt Luff, the reigning Civic Cup champion, and Ollie Turner, former VW Cup champion, on the 4th row. Spencer Stevenson and John Cooper are next, ahead of Gary Miller and Barry John McHenry, who is the first of the club class drivers. Then it's Connor Blackburn and Morgan Kidd. They are sharing row 7. Row 8 then for Sean Reynolds and Artie Johnson, with Marco Ricci and Caitlin May at the back of the 18-car grid. Now, those of you who tuned in for either of the first two opening rounds of this championship may remember that the grid had been bolstered at those first two rounds by the ST150 class. Well, here at Oulton Park, they've got their own separate races, so just the one class to follow, and it's a really nice sign that the ST240s are now able to hold their own races with their own grid. 18 cars is a really healthy grid for these cars. Might be the biggest ST240 grid we've ever had. And bear in mind, we're only a season or so into using the 240s within the Fiesta Championship at the BRSCC. It's great to see that these cars have proven to be really popular. They're fast, they're not easy to drive, but once you get your head around them, they look very rewarding indeed. And they always provide exciting racing. You can tell really that it's a sort of touring car feeder series, because the way they race is very much of that nature. Very close quarters racing, lots of overtaking, lots of side-by-side. Not going to be easy to do here at Oulton Park. Difficult place at which to go wheel to wheel, but it won't stop them trying, especially into that first corner. So cars then are lining up on the grid. Pole position for Zach Lucas on the inside line. Here's the dark green car, the grey and orange alongside him, Simon Horrobin. And Zach Lucas with a few points to try and get back here, having won the first two races of the season at Snetterton. I think many people thought he was going to be the one running away with it at the front, but it's Kellett who arrives here at Oulton Park with a 41-point lead over Albert Webster. Webster starting third, of course, so 3 of the top 4 in the championship starting on the front couple of rows of the grid. Green flag then being waved at the back. We're almost ready to go. 20 minutes on the clock for the AIRTEC Motorsport Fiesta ST250 Championship. Red lights have gone on, and the racing here at Oulton Park gets underway. Who's going to make the best of the starts from the front of the grid? It looks like Simon Horrobin is away well, and he's going to grab the early advantage. Down into Old Hall Corner, chops across in front of the pole sitter Zach Lucas, and Horrobin will lead them. Kellett trying to go around the outside there of Zach Lucas and Old Hall Corner. Matt Luff in the middle, and there's carnage. One car around, that's John Cooper. Others bouncing off each other. How did that not end up in a bigger accident? Off also the number 11 car of Graham Colfer. That's a shame, the guest driver, but that could have been an awful lot bigger. I think they've all managed to carry on with minimal damage. At the front of the field, it should be Horrobin leading, and then nobody else. Simon Horrobin has a massive lead over the rest of the field, or has Horrobin dropped back a little way? No, I think he has got the lead, hasn't he? So what on earth happened to Kellett and Lucas and Webster? Webster's there in 4th position, but those two must have made contact whilst debating second place. It's given Horrobin this massive lead over Joseph Knight in second place. Then is Ollie Turner third, with Albert Webster looking to the outside. There's a bit of a squeeze into Hislops. The two of them trade a bit of paint, but I don't think the position traded on that occasion. And it is Ollie Turner who stays in third. Webster fourth. 5th position then I think is Spencer Stevenson, perhaps. Yes, it is Spencer Stevenson, just ahead of Matt Luff, who was in the middle of a 3-wide situation through the first corner. We are going a safety car. There must be at least one car that didn't get going again from Old Hall Corner. Try and find... well, OK. 3 cars that didn't get going from Old Hall Corner, and they include Lucas and Kellett. So Zach Lucas, the pole sitter, and Kellett, the championship leader, both out of the race. The green car facing away from us, I'm not 100% sure on who that might be. We'll see who doesn't come through at the end of the first lap, but that is a big drama then. 2 of our championship contenders out at the first corner. They must have made the first bit of contact because they were side by side, weren't they, going through Old Hall? And there you can see the marshals already busy trying to recover the cars and get them out of the way as quickly as possible. So dramatic start to the race. Simon Horrobin will not be happy because he had about a 2-second lead because of all of the drama that unfolded behind him, but that now is eroded. Joseph Knight second, Turner third, Webster fourth, Stevenson fifth, Matt Luff sixth, 7th place then for Reynolds. Sean Reynolds, who started 15th on the grid, gained 8 places out of all of that. Gary Miller is in 8th, 9th place Marco Ricci, and the top 10 completed by Morgan Kidd. So Morgan Kidd also benefiting out of that. The other car that we have lost appears to be Connor Blackburn, and in fact we also haven't seen Archie Johnson through, so I think that might be Blackburn tangled up with Lucas maybe. And what's happened to the other one I'm not so sure, but 4 cars in total not making it through to the end of that opening lap, as Old Hall Corner claims another few victims. We see this so often though here at Oulton Park. It's such a difficult turn, Old Hall Corner. It's deceptively quick. There's quite a bit of camber change as you go through the apex, and on cold tyres especially. Very, very easy to get it wrong, and sadly from there it can sometimes be a bit of a chain reaction. So, as was kind of the case at Silverstone, we have an early safety car, and hopefully this won't take too long to get back to green flag racing, but this has championship implications, definitely. Simon Horrobin set to be one of the big winners here, and Albert Webster likewise, although he did lose a few places in the melee at turn 1. But he will be, I'm sure, still hoping to move into the podium places by the flag. You can see him, the AMD liveried car, the red and white one there in 4th position. Right behind him is Spencer Stevenson. There, the blue car, Matt Luff, who I spoke to briefly yesterday afternoon. He was really feeling confident this weekend, said that he felt like he was starting to learn what made the car tick, and maybe a bit disappointed with 7th on the grid, but he survived the first corner, which is a victory in itself, really, and he will look to move forward from there. I suspect he probably had to hit the brakes at some point to avoid driving into the incident that was unfolding ahead, and that maybe lost him a position or two as well. So lights on the Jaguar safety car as it makes its way around Druids, and with 3 cars at least set to need recovery. This might take a number of laps. The 4th car, I'm none the wiser as to where it went. I don't know if we have got a 4th car somewhere on the run down the avenue, or whether that car pulled off elsewhere, but hopefully it's out of harm's way. Either that or it was a non-starter, which is a possibility, I suppose. But certainly the 3 cars that the hard-working British Marshals are going to have to get to work on. So Simon Horrobin with a best finish so far this season of 2nd. That came in the first race of the season. John Cooper was tangled in all of that, wasn't he? As was Graham Colfer. So those two have both benefited from the safety car and don't appear to have any damage. I don't know how Colfer kept it out of the barriers. He got very close to the barriers on the right-hand side. Gathered it together, and they are both drivers who should move forward from there, really, because Cooper started 10th, but of course Colfer was 5th on the grid. So that white number 11 car should be making some moves on the restart, as and when we get to that point. The camera pans to the left here. We might get to see progress is being made of the recovery on corner exit. There's a truck there ready to tow 1 car away. Still can't see a number on that car. I think that is 664 Connor Blackburn, though. So it's the other car. In fact, yes, and the other car that we were missing has now, Archie Johnson has now vanished from the timing screen. So Archie was a non-starter. Blackburn was the 3rd car involved. They've already moved Zach Lucas's car, look, up against the barrier. Now, they might choose to leave Lucas and Kellett's car just up against the barrier down the avenue, in which case we might not be far away from a restart, rather than waste basically over half the race moving all 3 cars. They might choose to leave them at a safe distance from the track, perhaps cover it under yellow flags for a lap or so, and then let them race. That would be the ideal situation, really. You'd like to get some racing in here if possible. There you can see those 2 cars. They're a decent way off the track. It still makes me a bit nervous when cars get left in positions like that. There is a recovery vehicle there that has towed Zach Lucas's car to that position, but whether it's now going to take it anywhere else, we shall have to wait and see. Either way, I don't think we're going to go racing this time. We'll probably need 1 more lap at least behind the safety car. Drivers, it's at times like these that they will really start to feel the heat inside the cockpit, because many of them were sat in their cars for a decent length of time before the race even started. Then they've been out the green flag lap, started the race, the temperatures inside the cabin starts to climb, and now once the adrenaline starts to wear off, as it inevitably does behind the safety car, they really start to feel that. It's a difficult day here. Even 20 minutes, which doesn't sound like a long time, starts to feel like an absolute age when you're slowly baking in your race suit and your helmet. Once we go racing again, that should hopefully disappear from their minds. Lights still on the safety car, as we expected. 1 more lap then to be completed. This ST240 race, which is now minus 2 of our top 3 in the championship. And Joseph Knight, actually, who's inherited 2nd out of all of that, he's 4th in the points. So this is a real opportunity for him not only to net his first podium in the championship, but also really to insert himself into title contention. Now, what's going on here? It does look to me as if they're just going to move those 3 cars up against the barriers and potentially get the race underway at the end of this lap. I did overhear a conversation during the driver's briefing for the Fiestas this morning where this exact kind of thing was discussed. They said we don't really like having safety cars, certainly not lengthy safety cars that eat into the race. So if there is a way that we can leave cars at the side of the track but allow the race to continue under yellow flags, we will try to do that. Of course, they had to throw the safety car initially because there were cars and bits of cars all over the road, but now they're at a safe distance. Recovery vehicles can head down to Cascades and nip behind the barriers at the access point there, and we should be good to go racing at the end of the lap. So Simon Horrobin perhaps anticipating that, slowing the pace down a bit now, weaving a bit more to try and get the heat back into the rear tyres, really, more than the fronts. These being front-wheel drive cars, the front tyres heat up pretty rapidly, but the rears, which are just kind of along for the ride, really, do tend to take a little bit longer, and they'll lose the heat a bit more quickly. Recovery vehicles have actually headed the wrong way up the track, which normally isn't a good thing, but they know the track is clear, so they knew that was safe to do so. And they will be in the pit lane momentarily. In fact, I can see out of my window they are now in the pit lane. As far as I know then, we should be good to go racing this time at around about the halfway point of this 6th round of the AIRTEC Motorsport Fiesta ST150 Championship. Cars make their way over Hilltop, and Simon Horrobin versus Joseph Knight is going to be an intriguing prospect here, although Joseph in qualifying earlier on today was only 6th, but the times were remarkably tight. The top 10 runners were covered by just 6.5 tenths, so really nothing to choose between them, and that would have probably not pleased people like Joseph Knight or Matt Luff or Ollie Turner, who would have felt it was going to be very difficult to make progress given how evenly matched everybody is. But now they've inherited these podium positions. They should have pace to run with Simon Horrobin, having not been massively slower than him in qualifying. So Horrobin needs a good restart here to try and move himself out of the danger zone. Lights still on the safety car for now, but they do sometimes go out, if they're going to go out, as they head down underneath the Paul Warwick Bridge. Let's see. Still flashing for the time being, and I now am becoming increasingly concerned that they're not going to go off this time. So we're going to get one more lap. I'm not 100%. Oh, they do now go out. A very late call to turn the lights off. So we are going to go racing with just under 9.5 minutes left on the clock. Simon Horrobin, perhaps a bit caught out by that as well, has not really been able to make a big jump. So Joseph Knight absolutely going with him on the restart. It's Ollie Turner in 3rd, who has dropped a car length or so. So the top 2 run nose to tail into turn number 1. Right-hander at Old Hall Corner, no overtaking before the timing line, but from here on in, they can go racing. And immediately further back, someone trying to make a move up the inside. That is Barry McHenry in the number 5 car, slipping up the inside of Caitlin May and bringing with him John Cooper. Remember, Cooper and Colfer trying to move through from the back of the field. So down through Cascades then, once again, for the first time really at full racing speed in a way, and Simon Horrobin really feeling the pressure now. Joseph Knight is on his tail and pulls to the outside line. Horrobin moves on to the racing line, the rear of the car dancing around under braking. Albert Webster, meanwhile, goes to the outside of Ollie Turner for 3rd, but that is not quite going to work. Ollie Turner will hang on, and despite a myriad of different lines being taken through the head, and they all come out the other side still in the same order. Webster had the better traction up the hill though, and does now break up the inside of Ollie Turner. He's got the preferred line into the Hislop chicane, and surely will move through into 3rd place. Yes, he does. So Webster onto the podium now, and that is significant. Webster now back where he started, and he out-qualified Joseph Knight, who is the next car ahead of him. So we'll feel confident that he's got the pace to make further ground up in this race. Towards Druids Corner they head again then. Simon Horrobin now starting to stretch his legs out in front. The hazard lights flash as they use that ABS under braking into Druids Corner. Down towards the braking zone at Lodge. Move perhaps being lined up here by the number 12 car, that is, Spencer Stevenson, as he now tries to move ahead of Ollie Turner. He's got Matt Luff right behind him. And Luffy might just have the better exit from Lodge Corner now. They go through the dip, over the crest at Deers Leap, and a full racing lap is in the books now. Fastest lap set by Matt Luff, so the blue car there in 6th place is rapid, as he promised me he was this weekend. And looking to try and move ahead of Spencer Stevenson, who will hold on to the place for now, dropping down the hill. Spencer Stevenson started 2 places behind Matt Luff, which shows you the ground that Matt lost through turn 1. And now, frustratingly, has to try and find a way back ahead of the number 12 machine. Inch perfect on track limits, I must say, as they come out of Cascades Corner. It's the 2nd second place battle, though, I think that is about to start to erupt, because Albert Webster's all over the back of Joseph Knight and nips up the inside of him at the last second. Lovely bit of driving from Albert Webster, and we know he gets good traction off this hairpin now. He's once again on the inside line heading over Hilltop, and this time it's for second place. In the background, Matt Luff was up the inside of Ollie Turner. That's because Spencer Stevenson's already got past Turner, and now the reigning Civic Cup champion following him through. So Webster goes into second place. Both Stevenson and Luff get themselves ahead of Turner, whose race is starting to unravel slightly. He's now got Sean Reynolds in the 777 car in behind him. There, the grey and yellow car. That is the ex-Jensen Brickley car that ran so well in the championship last year. Jensen now moving up into TCR UK competition, where he's already been a race winner this year. So now I think we've got a race on our hands, because Albert Webster and Simon Horriman were separated by only 23 thousandths of a second in qualifying earlier on. Of course, Horriman built up a bit of a lead in the first couple of laps of the restart, but Webster, I think, will fancy his chances of chasing him down a little. Again, they waggle the tails into Lodge Corner. Ollie Turner scrabbling for grip. That car doesn't look particularly happy, does it, at the moment? And as they head for Old Hall Corner, the gap at the front, 1.5 seconds. It was a 38.1 for the leader, 38.4 for Webster, but that was with that overtake, of course, as Matt Luff takes so much speed out of Old Hall because Stevenson's in trouble. Spencer Stevenson, engine problems for the number 12, and he pulls to the side of the road. Race done for Spencer. That is a real shame. Perhaps was on for his best finish of the season, but that car now pulls over to the side of the track on the right-hand side of the avenue. So the other side of the road to where the other 3 cars have been left, but hopefully far enough off the road that doesn't require the safety car interruption. So that releases Matt Luff now into 4th, which again would be his best finish of the year so far. Let's see if he can make any further ground up before the flag. Out of the hairpin, meanwhile, comes Graham Colfer there, the white number 11 car on the tail of John Cooper and Morgan Kidd. That is the fight for 9th position. There, Matt Luff winds his way through the chicane, over that awkward little crest, then into the right-hander at Knickerbrook. Get on the power as early as you dare, carry the speed up Clay Hill, underneath the new, for 2023, spectator access bridge, which hasn't yet been finished, but another one of the many improvements made to the track over the winter. Over the crest again, out of Druids Corner. The top 4, 5 really now, pretty well spread out, aren't they? Reynolds likewise a bit lonely in 6th. The real battling at the moment going on behind them, in particular with Gary Miller and Morgan Kidd. Morgan Kidd looking rapid here. Morgan's been getting some coaching from a certain ex-touring car racer, and she has clearly been learning well, because she slips up the inside of Gary into Lodge Corner. That was a textbook move. Gary Miller going to try and fight back on the exit, is he? Yes, he is. He's looking to the inside line at Old Hall Corner. Has he got an overlap, though? I don't think he has. So Morgan Kidd up into 8th. Spoke to her in the assembly area earlier on, and she was feeling confident, and rightly so, picking some places up at the start, and now continuing that forward momentum again as we move into the final quarter of the race. Horriman's lead, by the way, stayed pretty static that time. In fact, that's John Cooper, and that car is missing something quite important. The right front wheel has gone missing. He is not happy, understandably, but where did the wheel go is the next question. John Cooper's race is done. You know a driver's frustrated when he can't be bothered closing the door. There is the wheel right in front of the leaders at the Hislop chicane, who they all did a brilliant job of avoiding that. So the wheel has parted company with John Cooper's car. It's gone down the old Foster's circuit and rejoined down at the Hislop chicane. That was a terrifying moment. That wheel could have gone anywhere if Albert Webster had collected it. But miraculously, it was avoided. So, wow. Fantastic reactions there from the leading group. I think Joseph Knight really had to stamp on the brakes to avoid it, though, and that means that Matt Luff is right on his tail now. Matt Luff is scenting a chance of a first Fiesta Championship podium. Looks to the inside at large. Does he commit to the move? No, because Joseph Knight moved over at the last second to cover, but Matt Luff having by far his best showing of the season so far, and he really now does feel that a podium is on the cards. Over Deersley they go, 2 3/4 minutes to go, so 2 laps of racing remain in this 6th round of the AIRTEC Motorsport Fiesta ST250 Championship, and Matt Luff versus Joseph Knight is the action spot now, isn't it? Out of Old Hall they race. The lead gap goes up that time by 0.8 of a second, so Simon Horriman looking good for his first victory of the season, and therefore looks as though he's going to deny Albert Webster a first ever circuit racing victory. Kind of forget that Webster never did win a Fiesta Junior Championship race, despite being a front runner, and well, very close here this morning this afternoon as it is now, to getting that first win today. But second place as good as it will get, I think. There's John Cooper. Well, he's now starting to see the funny side, but understandably was not best pleased with that situation. Now, down the hill comes the third place squabble. And actually, Joseph Knight now starting to get away from Matt Luff and maybe closing the gap slightly to Albert Webster. That gap was 1.6 seconds at the start of the lap. I don't think it is now, as they wind their way through Knickerbrook Corner. So being spurred on by the pressure applied by Matt Luff, Joseph Knight now starting to put in some of his best laps of the race. Joseph has also not yet had a podium in the championship, so there's a lot riding on this particular battle. But for the time being, Matt Luff not going to be close enough to have a go, is he? Maybe wishes that he had fully committed to that move down here at Lodge a lap ago. It's not quite as close this time. Doesn't even peek to the inside. He's good on the brakes though, Matt Luff, isn't he? Always was back in the Civic days, and closes right in there through the final turn. So now Joseph Knight is going to have to watch his mirrors and might feel the need to go defensive here into Old Hall Corner. If not, Matt Luff will be tempted, I'm sure, to look at the inside. He peeks to the inside line, but it's a very quick corner, Old Hall. You don't do a lot of braking really in these cars. Just kind of a dab on the brakes, down a gear, throw it in. That means it's difficult to outbrake someone unless you're already up the inside, getting into the braking zone. Cascades is kind of a similar situation, so he sits in behind him again. And Matt Luff tries now to outfox the youngster ahead of him. Luffy, an ex-Ginetta Junior racer, did a bit of time in Mazda MX-5 as well before moving on to his success in Civic Cup. Oh, bouncing around on the suspension though as he goes into the Ireland hairpin. That was just a bit too late on the brakes there. Tried to carry a bit too much speed through the slowest corner on the track. Drops a car length or so to Joseph in the process. Down through his lobs, this would have been a potential overtaking chance if Luff had been a little bit closer. It's now all going to come down to Lodge Corner, isn't it? We've seen many a battle decided through the years at Lodge Corner on the final lap. And this might be another one. Battle for the lead, though. Well, that one never really came to life as Luff bounces over the grass, exiting Knickerbrook. Simon Horobin has simply dominated this race since the restart. Made the good start. He got the lead into turn one. He was ahead of the drama that unfolded behind him. And for Simon Horobin, it's going to be another race victory in the Fiesta Championship, but a first of the season in the 240s this year. And with other championship contenders struggling, it could be of some significance. Joseph Knight then looking to the inside to try and cover from Matt Luff, who goes to the outside line. Can he go right round the outside at Lodge? That's a brave move to try. He might have the traction on the exit. This could be a drag race to the line. Simon Horobin, though, has claimed the checkered flag and claims his first victory of the season in the AIRTEC Motorsport Fiesta ST250s. Webster second, Knight is third, and he hangs on by 2/10 in the end over Matt Luff, but both of them get their best finish of the season so far. Ollie Turner in 5th place. I think that's his best finish as well of the year. No, he might have done better at Snetterton at the start of the season. Sean Reynolds in 6th, Barry McHenry 7th, Kid 8th, 9th, and Graham Colfer will be a tad disappointed, I think, with 10th. Qualified so well, but caught up in the dramas with Alice Kellett and Zach Lucas at turn 1, amongst others, and ended up skittering off the road. Here comes Marco Ricci. I don't know what happened to Marco, because he was running in the top 10 earlier on. But I'm hearing he went straight on at Ireland at one point during the race. That's why he dropped the order. Had to do the whole Shell Oils loop and then rejoin again, which rather explains why he's a significant chunk behind the rest. So Marco Ricci, the last of the finishers in 12th, John Cooper, Spencer Stevenson, Zach Lucas, Alistair Kellett, Connor Blackburn, all failing to the finish. In fact, most of them, Cooper aside, through the first lap. So Simon Horobin gets the win for Webster, 2.6 seconds the winning margin in the Joseph Knight on the podium for the first time. Real feel-good stories there at the front of the field. Same true of Matt Luff, both inside the top 5. Sean Reynolds in, Barry McHenry and Morgan Kidd. And it was Gary Miller for Caitlin May and Marco Ricci. Now this there denote various different classes. You've got the overall Pro Championship drivers. They've got a Masters contingent within the Pro, or the red numbers. So the sort of peaky numbers there, the red are the Pro Masters for drivers over the age of 5. Then you've got the classes, which are also split into Club and then a Club Masters as well. So Sean there was a class winner within the Masters element of the Club class, and the yellow numbers, of which Barry McHenry the highest, they are just the general Club. And white number, Graham Colfer, a guest runner. Hope you got all of that. Hope you're making notes. There will be a quiz later. Almost everyone getting a trophy, it seems, at the end of that race description. Apart from those, he made it through the first corner. It was that Lucas and Alistair Kellett, costly incident at Potential Championship. They will have drop scores that potentially come to their rescue, but they'd have rather not been using them at this relatively early stage championship. So the cars will make through to Parc Fermé eventually, where hopefully O'Neill is going to be able to catch podium finishers, or potentially winners, we shall see. And look, we've got more racing to come today. We are heading into a lunch break, after which we'll have TCR action. And remember, if you're watching on the BRSCC streams to see any TCR UK or Civic Cup today, then you will need to head to their specific social media pages to follow the action. So for TCR and Civics, that's where you need to. While Richard, I think, is ready to go with some podium interview in Parc Fermé. So Richard, head down to you in the summer sunshine here at Oulton Park.
Simon Horrobin takes the win in the Fiesta race of the weekend, and he I say, looking fairly calm, cool and collected. So let's nip over, and great Parc Fermé marshals here, and massive you to them. Let's have a quick word with Simon Horrobin first. Simon, congratulations. You were right not to change anything on the car after quali, but obviously you'd rather be racing the cars that didn't.
Well, yeah, that was the idea. But you know, obviously we've got to get away off the start. Got my head down, just keep pumping the laps in. That's what you do.
You're an old hand at this, aren't you? So it's 9 youngsters in it as well. I love the champion. You've got the drivers that have the experience against some of these up and comers, and it can be done. About youngsters, is it?
No, it's not all about youngsters. You know, I'm old enough to be their dad. You know, so at the end of the day, I've been in Fiestas a long time. You know, this is absolutely so that is good. It's good television. You know, it's good.
August well for the rest of the again, leaving it, or do you look at temperatures and everything else?
Look at a bit of data, we'll see what the car will in, and then we'll go from there.
Brilliant, Simon, congratulations. Lovely to see you on the podium. And Webster in second, he's already here. Albert, these youngsters really know what they're doing. One of the things we tell youngsters in media training is to have a line for us. Do you have that?
Loved it. Brilliant race. It was a bit of carnage at the start. I didn't really know what happened there. I just sort of carried on. Got overtaken by 2 people, didn't really mind, so I went in, and then off the restart I just thought I need to get back up, and got back to second.
And someone was away. He's got that car dialed in, so you have work to do for race 2?
No, I don't think so. The car's spot on. Just think I was just at the start because I had to push to get past Ollie and Joe. My tyres were really hot, and I was just managing the tyres and managing the temperature of the engine.
Obviously, championship-wise, Alistair Kelly at the top with you, and he didn't get the finish in that one, but you should be hoping to have a race with him in race 2.
Yeah, it's a shame for him. It's brilliant, but it's sad for the championship because I think that should put me right on him now because of his DNF. But then on drop rounds, we don't quite know what's going to. You never know what's going to happen, and what happens with drop rounds muddles the order always.
Thank you very much indeed for that. Well done. Thank you, Albert. Congratulations on second position. Third position, Joseph Knight. Finally get to do a podium interview with Joseph. A quick word. I'm being asked to wrap up because we've got some technical problems, but I couldn't bypass you. Just say well done on third place. And Matt Luff was on your tail, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was close to say the least. We were struggling a little bit towards the end, but managed just about hold on to it, albeit very close at the end. But I'm super happy with the result. First podium in this car. So yeah. Can't thank the team enough, can't thank my sponsors, NGK, Turn 1, Bumps Away, all of them, they've helped me so much and I wouldn't be here without them really.
Good lad, Joseph, well done, good luck for race 2.
Thank you very much, I appreciate it.
So from the live stream it's a wrap. I think we're going to stick here and have a word if we can with our club sport winners to go to, so you'll be able to hopefully catch up with that on live stream a little bit later on. The TCR of course have their own live stream. We're maintaining ours throughout the course of the afternoon, but shutting down for now. We'll be back at 5 to 2 with our next race, which sees our first race of the day for the BRSCC Fiesta Junior. So thanks very much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the race, and please join us again at 5 to.